I've made some inexpensive recipes, but this one is by far the most economical, and what's more, it's very easy to prepare. It's simple. We practically only need 3 main ingredients. First of all, I take 6 apples of medium-sized earth, which I cut into small cubes. I then put them in a large pot, which I cover with cold water, and I bring them to the boil for 10 minutes. And while I have started cooking my potatoes, I take 2 large zucchini. I remove the 2 ends. I then cut them in half, then in 2 again before cutting them into very small pieces. After 10 to 15 minutes of cooking the potatoes I add on top of the zucchini. It requires less cooking time, so we put them much later. And I then cook for another 10 minutes or so. Then I take a bunch of fresh coriander, which I chop very finely. Once my potatoes and zucchini are well cooked in water, I'm going to drain them in a pan. I put some olive oil to heat. I add the equivalent of 3 cloves of chopped garlic. I add to that a tablespoon of tomato paste, and I brown everything for a minute in the pan before adding 2 cans of tuna with tomato. You can otherwise add plain tuna. Then if you have fresh tomatoes, you can grind them and add them to your pan. Otherwise, like me, you add tomato coulis. So I put about 400 milliliters of it. I added it little by little during cooking. I stir well. We get a good time with the tomato. Then I add salt and pepper. You add a little bit of the spices that you prefer. I then added paprika, chopped coriander. Stir everything well. We don't need to let the sauce cook a lot, especially if we don't use fresh tomatoes. So 10 minutes maximum, and remove from the heat. I forgot to show that, but I also added a teaspoon of sugar to correct the acidity of the tomato. After having drained the potatoes as well as the zucchini, I put them back in a pan. I put a large knob of butter, salt, pepper, and a little bit of chopped coriander. I mix everything well while it is still hot to melt the butter well, and then I mash my vegetables into a puree. I then take a gratin mold, and I put my vegetable puree in the bottom. Then I pour over the tomato thyme. Tomato sauce is so good, you'll see. You're going to enjoy it, so I spread it evenly, and to finish I grate some mozzarella on top. You can obviously put the cheese of your choice. You then put your little gratin in the oven preheated to 190 degrees for about 20 minutes or until so that it is well gratinated. All you will have to do is taste and enjoy. I hope you like this recipe. See you soon.